So game day one here in Jakarta, following up on Chinese Taipei's opening day win impressively over Bahrain, and now Australia coming out, the defending champions, and they will be opening up their campaign against Jordan. Also in this group, Saudi Arabia and Indonesia, they will play the next game. So I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills. And Mark, Australia won the title back in 2017, their first ever appearance in the FIBA Asia Cup. They arrive here in Jakarta with, well, Mitch McCarron was in that team, and perhaps a little bit of the brings the feel-good factor from that. But Australia played so many games. They've had so many different lineups over the years in qualifiers and World Cups and Olympic Games. This is kind of a new look for Australia. Really, we did see these guys play in the last qualifying window, with the exception of Matthew Dellavedova. Dellavedova is not here today, but this is an Australia team that's locked and loaded, and I think probably in many people's eyes start as favorites. And they will be going up against a very experienced Jordan team that on their day can really cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. For Australia's perspective, their strength is absolutely in their depth. They don't have to have the big names every day for them to still be an exceptionally impressive team. But they are facing an interesting Jordan roster. I don't think they should underestimate their opponents today. Jordan have the talent there, and if they can put 40 minutes of their best basketball together, they can absolutely come away with the win today. And what a better way for them to start the tournament than with a big shock win over what would be considered by most as the favourites.
Well, Jordan certainly have players that have played in big games. They've played in FIBA Basketball World Cups. They've played in a lot of qualifiers. They also just had the window, and well, they want to come out and really prove their mettle today against Australia. Anyway, we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. For now, we're going to have a pause in the commentary for the playing of the national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Jordan.
Well, the national anthems have been played, and we are about ready to get underway here in Jakarta. And the players wave to each other across half court. Jordan, Dar Tucker, their naturalized player, and Reese Vague in Australia going through their final warm-ups. And it'll be interesting to see the starting fives for both teams. Also the referees who are lining up at mid-court. David Aquera there. Really interested to see Tyrese Proctor come out today. He'll be at Duke next season, playing in the United States, college basketball on John Shire's first team. And Duke having made it to the Final Four once again under their legendary coach Mike Krzyzewski, who called it quits after last season, where they were upended by the University of North Carolina, unfortunately for Blue Devils fans, but had a great career. And here is a Jordan team again. They've got El Douari, the big center, who turns out more and more for them, and he really makes a difference in the post, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you look across the entire tournament and he's up there with, you know, some of the best bigs in this tournament, and he certainly is going to impose himself. For me, it's how does Australia deal with that? You know, they come into this tournament as favourites, but they're going to have some issues in every game they face, and El Douari is one of those issues here today. You know, do they match up straight with him? Will they drop into a zone if he starts becoming a little bit too dominant? It'd be interesting to see what Coach Kelly has up his sleeve for him.
Okay, referees are, well, at least 2 of the 3 are there, and I think the other one's loosening up. Oh no, he's down there talking to the Australian bench. So it's from Iraq, Ahmed Ali Yassin Al-Shuaili, Glenn Cornelio from Philippines, and Mohammed Al-Amiri, also from Kuwait. So I guess talking to the coach was a little bit more important. We'll see him throughout the game.
Them posing for the camera, yeah. They've got their priorities right, I think, on that one.
Ton Maker, William McDowell-White, boy, watching him shoot lights out, as well as Mitch McCarron during the warm-ups. Sam Froling and Clinton Steindl, another good shooter. Dukas, Proctor, who I talked about, Swaka, Okwara, Pender, Vague, and McDaniel coming off the bench for the Boomers. And you look at Michael Clancy Kelly, the head coach of Australia, and what a great opportunity for him to coach at an Asian Cup, and great opportunity for all these players as well to get those regular games and to expose themselves to international basketball. Dar Tucker, Freddie Ibrahim, Ahmad Al-Harmashe, Zaid Abbas, and Ahmed Al-Douari in the starting 5. Looks like Mr. Douari there's not quite as tall as we were expecting. Abu Hawass, Al-Hindi, Bizai, Abu Wazani, very important player coming off the bench for Jordan.
Yeah, I think they were just lulling us into a full sense of security, making El Douari look the smallest player on the floor when he's likely to be the biggest by some way.
Wasim Al-Sus, the former player of Jordan, now the head coach. I think there's a little bit of a obviously there's a lot of respect that the traditional teams of Asia have for Australia, New Zealand, but there's also kind of a chip on the shoulder, like, yeah, hey, listen, you know,
this is our
we know what your reputation is, but don't think that you're going to come in here and have your way with us.
I think the thing that's been interesting is it's not been dragged to one direction or the other. It's kind of met in the middle that, you know, the more traditional Asian teams that have been in this tournament for decades have had to adjust to a different style that Australia and New Zealand bring to Asia Cup. But also I feel Australia and New Zealand, and that was one of the primary drivers, enables them to have higher competitive standard of competition on a more regular basis. They've had to understand Asian basketball, how that's played, the structure, and you know, it's really helped, I think, for me, both kind of parties to up their game and to improve on the world level.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think you, I, and everybody else knows Australia's among the elite in international basketball, and they're blessed. Basically, well, they deserve it because they've put a lot of time and money and investment. Just like Spain, just like USA, just like France, you see a lot of changing with rosters. That's one of the benefits that you have with having that deep talent pool, and you use that as an opportunity to get guys experience. And as we've seen, like in tournaments past, for example, the last FIBA Asia Cup, and then the qualifiers for the World Cup, Nick Kay coming up for Australia, really emerging as a big-time player that they count on heavily now. So, you know, that opportunity is out there for all of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you say, that process, that almost factory of talent they have now has just helped them to get to the highest levels.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, from Jakarta, Indonesia. This is the FIBA Asia Cup 2022, and it's the second game of the day between Australia and Jordan. Ton Maker Here comes Froling, handling the ball pretty well. Drives in and scores. Talk about a big-time basketball family. And Froling certainly adding to the hype. Here's Tucker coming off with his first miss. Hustles back down the court to guard Steindl. Here's Maker, and his attempt is long.
And clearly from that defensive display, they're going to give Maker that option from the outside. They know he's more of a threat closer to the bucket, so they don't mind him taking those long jumpers.
Oh, nice pass. Tucker inside to Al-Dwari.
I think we're going to hear that phrase quite a bit during this tournament, Tucker to Al-Dwari. I think they could make a really good 1-2 combo.
Well, if you're going to compete with Australia, you got to be able to compete against that defense. Well, I mean, they get after you from the opening tip. Here's Maker. Spins, gets down the baseline, puts it up and throws it down. Al-Hamarche just looking up at the big fella.
And again, from Jordan's perspective, I don't think they want to switch. They don't want to switch away on Thon Maker. They can't allow him to have the size advantage.
This is a real challenge for Freddie Ibrahim out here for Jordan. I know he's probably relishing the chance to get to go up against these Australians. Test his skills and talent. Shot clock about to expire. Oh boy, that's a step back, and already Australia's defense making life very difficult for Jordan. I like the way Froling's moving out there on the court. Here he is going up against Al-Dwari, and Al-Dwari, I guess you could say, wins that battle. Now Al-Dwari taking it right at Maker, but gets it to the veteran Abbas.
It's interesting, they're trying to draw Al-Dwari away from the basket. They're trying to make him guard on the perimeter and remove that rim protection that he provides.
McDowell White back outside to Maker. That's his second three attempt, and again, it's too long. McDowell White, though, very active, bats it out to McCarron, back inside to Maker. Maker, Baker, and Candlestick Maker. Wow, something like that. He is doing it all. He's got an angry look in his eyes right now, like he really wants to get into these Jordanian players. Tucker and Jordan forced to shoot some very difficult jump shots here early on.
It's all down to the Australian defense again. You know, it's kind of become the icon of what Australian basketball is, just pure hustle.
Saw that spin move again, a dunk from Maker.
And that's what he brings to them, that athleticism and just the aggressive move to the basket that a lot of the Jordanian players are going to struggle to defend.
Inside he goes to Proctor. And Proctor not able to score over Al-Dwari. Abbas. Al-Dwari. Remember, there's a guy that plays big time in Europe, and he shows it there with that little jump hook over Maker. McCarron back outside to Maker. And Maker drives in. Al-Dwari with the rebound.
But you see 2 early misses from Thon Maker there has put him off taking that outside shot, which means he is going to have to just go to the basket.
Maker getting up there and challenging the shot from Tucker, a little wild. Steindl. Ibrahim, well, they left him, and he shoots, and he is a little long.
And both teams already, you can see they want the pace to be high. They want this game to be a high tempo. They're not looking to use all 24 seconds.
Maker, another attempt at three, and this time he knocks it down. I'm not sure that Jordan want to play fast pace, but I think they're being forced to play it.
To a certain degree, I think they're being dragged into it for sure. Australia do want to play that.
But maybe as you look at that three from Maker, maybe Jordan also feel like, hey, maybe we need to play a quicker pace to get up and down the floor to beat their defense. because in the half court we're struggling.
Yeah, potentially half court is going to be the issue because Australia will play that lockdown defense. And more concerning is seeing Thonmaker hit that three. That means Algueri is going to have to come out now. He's going to have to step out and respect the jumper, which means their rim protection is eroded.
Defensively, we're doing good except of the last play. But other than that, we're getting what we want defensively. But offensively, we need to move the ball better. Okay, guys, when we have a mismatch, we need to read it. If Tucker having a big size, just open, everybody open, and let them play one-on-one. If we have a mismatch with very inside, let's look for it, okay?
But when you attack, it's okay. When you attack, the corner is wide open.
Just see it. Remember, the weak side. Relax. We're doing fine. We just need to score.
What do you want me to do upper quick if he's coming out that high? Quick pass, partner. Quick pass. I will not throw short
He go with you. Short hole on weak side. Short hole. See him. Short hole. Everything is short hole.
I think really Algueri.
Come on, let's go.
If they can somehow get him the ball just as he was there on that low block, they've got some possibilities.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you know, like you were alluding to, I think they may want to slow the game down a little bit, try and get into a little bit more of a half-court offense potentially, let him go to work and see if he can push some of these Australian players into foul trouble. You know, they're not necessarily too deep in the front court. They don't have, you know, really kind of traditional centers, traditional bigs, so they don't want to get early foul trouble to their key players.
David Okorie into the game, Reece Vague in as well. And that'll be a strength of this Australia team, that will be their depth. Al-Harmache. And again, that's a shot that they would like. He's a good shooter.
But for me, Algueri needs to just go to the basket with that. He's within, he's within, you know, 50 centimeters of the basket. Why isn't he just going strong?
Steindl pulls up and nails it. First bucket of the game, Australia by 7 points. Jordan often have issues at this end of the floor. Ibrahim, hand in the face, able to nail that three. Okwara for three. They like that wing spot, don't they? Nice stroke from number 14.
And just one in the long line of kind of next generation talents for Australia to come through. Okwara and obviously Proctor are their two youth players that were expected big things from.
Dar Tucker hits the three. So both teams heating up a little bit. Boomers up by 4 points. Steindl on nice give and go. And Okwara.
And that's your beautiful textbook pick and roll, finished with authority. And this is what Australia can do to you.
Vague. Oh, wow. They really love that spot. And you know what? We saw them spend a lot of time at that very spot in the warm-ups.
We now know why. Their offense is built around finding them some wing threes. So yeah, they had their backcourt out working hard from those wings throughout the warm-up.
And that pass intercepted by McCarron. Saw it coming. Into the corner, Proctor. And great rebound, Al-Harmache. Tucker gets inside. Boy, that was a strong finish. He looked like he cupped that ball.
And for me, I think this is what Jordan need at this point. They need some of their more veteran, experienced, high-level players just to take control, just to be a little bit maybe greedy on the offensive end.
Vague from deep. Oh, boy, he has got a nice-looking stroke, doesn't he? That's two in a row from him. Oh, nice behind-the-back pass to Algueri. Algueri feels the mismatch and then loses control of it right at the end. McCarron did about all you could do.
But I don't know why Al Hamasha there ran into the paint. He just dragged his defender with him and made it even harder. As you see the replay of that pick and roll, and just, yeah, that's a coaching 101 video, that one, if you ever want to show someone how to run the pick and roll to perfection.
Dow White and the Australian jump shooters are scintillating right now, sizzling. They are just taking off 25 points already scored by Australia. Still got a minute and a half to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, 59% from the field. Jordan need to pick up their defensive efforts. They're not going to win this game if Australia stay at that kind of efficiency level.
Oh boy, the rejection from Aquera. Good block on Hashem Abbas. I think maybe a pump fake would have been in order there. Proctor goes out. So coming in for Australia is Wani Swaka, number 6. There's Abbas, and a little bit of a mental mistake, not realizing how much time was on the clock, on the shot clock.
And that's the kind of pressure you get put under, though. You're trailing by 13. You've only scored 12. You've conceded 25 in this opening quarter, first 9 minutes. It does put that mental pressure on you. You're feeling that already in this game, and that's just through the intensity from Australia.
Del White, full meter behind the arc, and Aquera, ball falls to him. McDaniel in the game. Wani Swaka drives in. And Tom Baker back in, chases it down, and puts it up and in.
And it's just relentless from Australia. What they do, though, is that they have the individual skill level to demand a double team, and that's what creates the disruption for Jordan's defense.
Abu Wazane hands it off to Abbas. Now he's going to live dangerously against Maker. No, he's going to pass it back outside to Abbas. McDaniel for 3 and doesn't get the drop. It's a good look, good try, but safe to say Australia dominated that quarter. They have absolutely introduced themselves once again at the FIBA Asia Cup with a solid effort. 10 minutes. They lead it 27-12 over Jordan.
And you look at the shooting statistics and near perfection from Australia's perspective. They won't have expected any more than this. This will be exactly what Coach Kelly will have wanted for Jordan. Both ends of the floor, they've got problems that they're going to need to work on.
So it has been an impressive come out, hit him in the mouth type of performance for Australia here early on. And Maker, obviously, one of the players with a lot of, big reputation, having been a, 10th pick in the NBA draft. Spent some time in the NBA and no doubt looking to make it back.
And the thing you notice most from these replays for me is how many different players we're seeing in the replay. It's not like they've had one superstar in the first quarter. They've already had 10 of their 12 players on the floor. So they're already rotating.
Yeah.
Fatigue is not going to be an issue. And this is the depth we talk about. Even within the 12s that they put on the floor, the level of intensity, the way they're linked in together, they understand the philosophy that they're playing to. They understand the structures on both ends of the floor. There's no drop. Sometimes you see in teams when the second string.
By the way, Mark, get the Courtside 1891 app. Just scan that barcode in, and you've got all the video streams and schedules, everything that you want about this competition.
Yeah, but for Jordan now, it's they have to make the change. They have to swap things up here in the second quarter.
Yeah, but I don't see Australia shortening their rotation at all in this entire tournament.
No.
So that's the thing. They will go deep the whole time. That's a nice play coming out, and then Abu Wazane doesn't make the layup. Froling gets in, goes with his right hand.
And talking of the Australian rotation, it was actually one of my criticisms of them at the 2019 World Cup that they didn't rotate enough. And you ended up in key games at the end of the tournament with Paddy Mills having issues and pulling up with, with fatigue. They now learned from that, and they realized that it's 12 men on the team that have to be used throughout a tournament structure.
Well, and the ball batted. Now here comes Dard Tucker. Abu Wazane not able to field it. I was just praising Abu Wazane to you before the game, saying how he really comes out and makes a difference for this team. But so far he's missed a layup and then fumbled the pass. That was Freddie Ibrahim getting it into Abbas for a rare bucket for Jordan. I mean, if you have Patty Mills out there, he's going to play, when you need him in big games. He's going to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, and that was the thing, we go back to the pre-pandemic in 2019. He played so many minutes though, and that's what cost him in the
he was definitely
games.
Tired at the very end.
He really was. Whereas you feel that the Australian roster and the coaching system have learned from that. They now rotate a lot heavier. Wow.
How about Sam Froling? But that was all about the Australian passing movement and basically just kind of delivering a lesson. I mean, this school is in session right now, folks. How you pass it, how you move it. Abu Hawass comes into the game. Right now it's a 15-point game, and Australia have been so convincing. You don't see a way back for Jordan. But I think if it gets any worse, as you look at Froling's dunk, if it gets any worse, there's no chance. They have got to put the brakes right now on this terrific performance for Australia. It's going to be a first half KO.
And for me, it's unusual for me to say this, but I think it's from the offensive end. I think they need to find some rhythm off the offensive end, and that will give them confidence in the game, whereas at the moment they're not feeling that.
Abu Hawass just taking some contact, putting it up, and getting a friendly bounce. Gets it back to a 13-point deficit. A little bit of hope. Conan has come in as well, who's made some big plays for Jordan in the last window for the World Cup qualifiers. Dow White, quick pass, and Waniswaki. And if Australia misses those jumpers, that's the other thing. You have got to get the rebound, and you've got a chance, but that's just very careless. Dow White just picks his pocket, and Maker takes it all the way down and is fouled. And this is, Abu Hawass just can't think that he's going to be able to dribble past a boomer like that.
It's just naive. It's just naive to approach the paint in that manner with that body shape, that angle that he was approaching the paint. It's just not going to happen. He's going to lose the ball 9 times out of 10 in that situation. And when you're down by this much against such a clinical team as Australia, you can't afford those mistakes.
No, you can't. I mean, you've got a little bit of momentum. You got a chance to cut it to 11, maybe 10. And instead, Australia go to the other end and push their lead back up to 14. So we saw it in the first game. Bahrain absolutely shot themselves in the foot with 23 turnovers, I think it was.
Yeah.
Against a very impressive Chinese Taipei. It was not the same Chinese Taipei that played in the last window. It was a different Chinese Taipei, a much more experienced team, and they just took advantage. Sami Bizai in the game. He's got it. He's a good shooter.
And we talk about the intensity of this Australian defense. They are yet to commit a foul in the game. You know, they've played over 12, almost 13 minutes now.
O'Connor forced to take a step back. Three-pointer. Steindl at the other end has his feet set, no pressure whatsoever, and drills it. And the lead goes back to 18 now. So it's his biggest lead of the game.
And for neither of these teams, you know, this isn't a make or break game. This doesn't set the Asia Cup up for them, but how they play the game is almost just as important as whether they win it or not right now. So for Jordan, even if they come away with the loss, it doesn't kill their hopes.
No, because they don't go into this tournament saying they've got to beat Australia.
No, but the thing is how they play today's game will carry forward with them.
Abu Hawass again settling. He is a good shooter. Maker. I mean, the only team that's making jump shots right now is Australia. They are absolutely ridiculously on fire. In other words, call the fire department.
They're unconscious right now, shooting 46% from outside. Their overall shooting percentage is 52%. The efficiency on the offensive end is unreal, but it's being driven by that defensive intensity. They know that they're going to get, and they're going to force Jordan to spill the ball.
I don't recall any offense that we started with Hash on the floor to play here and to whatever. Go get the ball out of his hand. I want to play. When we set our screens, we need to set a good screen and roll hard. Set a good screen and roll hard. Don't look at the scoreboard. Play. Possession by possession, we can get back.
I'm good.
Wait, you go back for wasn't it? And Tucker, go back for Matt. Go back for Matt. Come on.
Good job, Yusuf.
Hey, we're defending 2-3. 2-3 zone. 1-3.
Well, he says possession by possession, they can get back. But yeah, they've got to run some offense, and Australia not really showing any signs of allowing them to run any offense.
No, in particular, Thon Maker, already 14 points, 6 rebounds, well on his way to his double-double, and I don't think Jordan have shown an answer to that, even with Al-Dwari coming back onto the floor. I'm not sure he's the person that's going to stop that. Thon Maker seems to be that versatile threat, can step out and shoot, is happy taking it inside and, you know, battling amongst the bigs.
Al-Dwari doesn't want to have to go out and guard guys out on the perimeter. Although I guess it is a shorter trip down the floor to run for him.
True.
Dar Tucker. Abbas. And just grazed the net. Proctor, Vague back in. Steindl. And here's Al-Dwari. Bizai.
And you said a word earlier that absolutely rings true for Jordan. Settled. They seem to be settling for shots rather than creating the best opportunity in their 24 seconds. They're just settling to whatever they end up with.
Oh, look at that. McCarron just goes right into the lane and has an easy layup. Good playmaker. Seeing his teammate wide open. Basketball's a team game, and they're showing it. Here's Tucker. Now Proctor drives in, gets rejected. And good save and bounce by Abu Hawass. Al-Dwari fancies his chances and goes right up against Maker.
And that was great. What Jordan did in that possession was they spread the floor to create the space for Al-Dwari to lock Thon Maker down low 1-to-1.
Vague turns, looks at his options. It's just
Al-Dwari has to offer more. Yeah, Al-Dwari has to offer more defense than that though. Just turning away from a mid-range jumper, no matter who it is at this level, that's going to be a high percentage shot.
Now Australia get down the basketball, get rid of it quickly. Here's Proctor, and then he's fouled as he goes up by Abbas, who goes over to check on him. I mean, Reese Vague, excellent work there to wrestle it away.
I'm surprised the officials aren't actually reviewing that one, potentially for an unsportsmanlike. Not that block, it was the play that subsequent to that.
Yeah.
The thing I find interesting with Proctor, though, is you obviously said with Dellavedova stepping away, this is a real opportunity for some of those young point guards to establish themselves and try and take that point guard leadership role, because hopefully Dellavedova's not listening. He's maybe not got that many more tournaments in his knees before things start giving up a little bit. So there is going to be that space. Patty Mills the same.
It's just natural. I mean,
absolutely.
You got to bring the young guys in.
So it's that next wave of point guard. Who's going to step into that fold of Dellavedova, Patty Mills? Who's going to come in and take that mantle and carry it on? And for someone like Proctor, this is a huge opportunity for him to really stake a claim to that starting point guard position.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt he's got a bright future. I'm not sure he'll be starting anytime soon, but you never know. Dwari. And boy, just a powerful move by him.
And that's what he needs to do. It's not pretty, it's not modern attractive basketball, it's old school, back to the basket grind. But that's what's going to work for him right now.
And terrific effort. No, not probably, and you know what, I stand to be corrected. In fact, if obviously Proctor's a huge talent, so I shouldn't say not anytime soon.
I think what you've got is you've got a lot of veteran Australians who love playing for their national team who aren't going to walk away anytime soon. You're going to have to carry them off on a stretcher to get them out of the green and gold of Australia.
Sure. Well, we all saw what they did in Tokyo and in the tournaments before that. Here he goes, Ibrahim, and boy, those are shots they just have to be able to make. McDaniel gets it up quickly, over to Vague. If he'd made that, I just would have got up and left. I mean, he pretty much made everything before that.
It's the mic drop moment for him, that one, wasn't it?
Nice pass. And Abu Hawass not able to get up a decent shot. But going up against that aggressive front line on defense. Ibrahim. Dart Tucker. Oh, Abu Hawass got away with, boy, that was McDaniel got a hand in the face. He's checking his mouth. Jordan just trying to maintain a pulse here. McCarron goes down. Gosh,
that's unreal. And Jordan, I understand, you know, they dropped into this 2-3 zone. They're trying to lock out, and it's worked to a certain degree. So it stopped that driving action from Australia. But Australia can shoot the lights out, as McCarron shows there.
Well, they're just 7 of 16 right now from deep. And look at that insane accuracy on that looping pass. What a drive as well from Abu Hawass.
Hey, with a pass like that, it deserved the finish. The precision over the shot clock. That's unreal.
The degree of difficulty of that. Well, we get to look at the drive, which was impressive as well, but the pass was something else.
Yeah. So, hey, so we'll go A against the zone right now. Dave, when you catch, say that we have one drives it, kicks to two, right? You're here. I want you to look to get 2 feet in the paint. Okay, we got shooter. Who we got as our shooter? Sammy coming through. Sorry, Dukas. You're coming through off of Sam's pick right here. You're going to have to make this guy right here commit to you, Dave. So you get that, rip that. 1 or 2 and strong with it, because you're going to have 2 guys digging, and Dukas is going to be open right in the corner, or Sam's going to be sealed right there, okay? Defensively, we're in greens, and we're hot 1. We got to be ready to move on that baseline. Hey, nothing in the rim. Nothing in the rim. 1, 2, 3. Keep up full pressure, yeah. Keep up full pressure. They can make that loopy pass again, just like that.
But even then, on that replay that we see of the three from McCarron, Jordan didn't chase it out. If you're going to run that zone, you've got to chase shooters off the perimeter. The whole point is you can, because you've got your rim protector behind you. If you get burnt on the drive, that's fine. You can't just allow Australia to shoot, even if they are 2-3 meters outside of the arc. You have to step out to them.
Coach Kelly used to play professionally in Australia. Here's Froling, though, and just good looks for Australia offensively. Dukas has checked into the game. Alex Dukas guarding El Dwari. Here's Freddie Ibrahim. That's well short. He just does not look comfortable out there.
No, he's not found his rhythm at all. On his day, can be absolutely explosive, but today it's not happening.
And again, oh boy, Sam Froling, I think
he was
quite believe
by
how
the space,
easy
right?
it was going to be. And the lead goes to 24. Al Dwari gets blocked. He got his way. Alhar Mache getting in, and he gets rejected by McCarron. I bet you after the game, when you watch, as you look at Froling going in again, Mitch McCarron will have more across-the-board stats than anybody.
Yeah, and
shots, assists, blocks, steals.
He also has tons of stuff that you don't get on that box score. There's so many little plays where he gets into a passing lane, or he's just disrupting the offense and getting in their minds of, well, can I make that pass, can I not?
McDaniel, back to McCarron. That was his big moment. I was getting ready for him to step up at the end of the quarter, McCarron, but he does not. And the Boomers can only be pleased with that effort in the first half. They really laid the wood to Jordan. They were relentless on both ends of the floor. They lead at 52-26 over Jordan at halftime.
Here are the shooting percentages from that first half, and a wonderful, pretty picture for Australia. Interesting to see as well. Neither team really going to the line. Only 4 free throws across both teams, as Australia really have been so impressive. And when you get 16 assists in the first half as well, you know things are going your way. Just a near perfect performance from Australia, the way exactly they will have wanted to enter this competition.
14 for Maker leads all scorers. Well, in case you missed any of the action, here it is. And we saw this, we're saying we haven't seen the best of Freddie Ibrahim. He did make that pass early on to, wow, that was in the second quarter to Abbas.
And if anything, that's the frustrating thing. You know how important he is to Jordan. You know the level he can play at, but he's just almost not been allowed to play at that level right now by Australia.
There's not been any Australian player really that hasn't impressed. It's because they all they gel so nicely together, don't they? They got such great chemistry, passing it around, and they end up with good shots on offense. Steindl from that spot.
The thing you've got is when you look at it as well, the pieces are interchangeable. McDowell White knows that one of his teammates is going to be in that spot, and that teammate can shoot the three. It doesn't matter who it is, whatever the rotation that Coach Kelly does, they're interchangeable. They just go straight into and fill that role perfectly. And that's the great thing that Australia have got, that they rely on each other. They can make those passes without even looking. They know who they're passing to. knows where they're supposed to be, knows what they're supposed to be doing, and that trust really breeds that confidence on the offensive end.
And this is Vague hitting one of his many jump shots. Reese Vague, very impressive. Coming off the bench, scoring 8 points, 3 of 4 from the floor, 2 of 3 from deep. But this is, you know, I think if you're a team like Jordan and you're thinking, what are our, oh, that was the shot where Abu Hawass got McDaniel in the face, and all credit to McDaniel for just playing on. You look at Australia and you're like, well, these guys are playing at this level, and if we aspire to be anything close to the podium, we need to be a little bit better against these guys. We got to be able to contend.
And the thing is, that replay that you just saw there, for me, is the biggest change. You looked on the Australian defensive end. This is how they're playing defense. It's sprawling, it's constant, it's in your face. You get past one player, the next player steps up ready to compete against you. You look at the other end of the floor, there's separation. Jordan aren't putting the intensity. You look at that kind of spacing, you've got to body up, you've got to be physical. And we get to the halfway stage, Jordan have only got 2 fouls. They're not in foul trouble. They have, you know, they're clearly not playing aggressive defense. That said, Australia have only got 1 foul at the halfway stage, which is crazy.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation, representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands? It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Intercepted. Here he comes. Get ready for takeoff. And out of a little windmill action. Son tries again. He finishes in emphatic style with a little bit of a stare. The left-handed jab. You don't find many quarters finished like Haas finished like this. Somebody's on a poster. Pass back inside. Tom Maker coming out, scoring 14 points, but it's not so much that he just scored 14 points, it's the way he scored 14 points. I mean, he was not shy. He was not shy about putting it up outside. He wasn't shy about going hard to the basket. It's almost as if he recognized, I'm gonna be the tone setter in this game.
And that's what we've been waiting for Thon Maker for a while now, that we've seen those glimmers of that potential, you know, the versatility offensively in his game, and the rim protection that he provides at the other end of the floor is the other thing that we don't see as well. You don't see it on the box score if it's not a block, but he's still getting up there and putting people off. And he's come in today and done exactly that. He's asserted himself and really become a leader in today's Australian team.
So I'm sure there's more of that, where that came from. Maker overall has just torn them apart. And for Jordan, their naturalized Dar Tucker, 9 points. And he had to be strong on that play with Maker trying to take it away.
And the funny thing is, he's their leading scorer, 9 points, which, you know, in any competition, let alone one at this level, you'd be happy with. But I still want more from him. I still, you know, looking at that first half performance, he hasn't imposed himself on the game. He hasn't, you know, at times when his team have needed him really just to step up and say, look, get me the ball, let's space the floor and let me do something. Let me be a bit creative because we're struggling at the moment. He's not had enough of those kind of moves to the basket, which we know that he's capable of doing.
But have you noticed on every single basket that he makes, he is working hard for it. Look at this. I mean, Okwara right on him.
Yeah.
Swiping at the ball.
And the weak side rotation as well. You know, the Australian defense is helping across on every single play. He's got the mismatch there, which is what he wants.
That's the only basket that he scored where he made it look relatively easy and
just blasted past Thon Maker, relatively easy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Maker was
caught sleeping a little bit on that one,
reaching in. So Froling also impressive with 10 points, vague, but I think in this case it's kind of like, well, those are the guys with the points, but everybody is part of the machine and it's all working, and whoever ends up with the points is kind of irrelevant, really. It's Australia that ends up with the points.
And that seems to be the philosophy, you know. Clearly the egos aren't there. The individual egos aren't on the floor at the moment. It's not about I need to get mine. It's, well, if the ball ends up in my hands at the right point of our offense, then great, I'll get the points. But it's not one player having to be the focus of their offense, and that's what makes them so difficult to defend against.
Yeah.
Because you can't say, okay, we're going to double on this player, or we're going to overload onto this player, because they'll just move the ball and they'll space the floor, and you're left, you know, wondering what's going on as they're hitting threes from all over the place. But for Jordan, there were glimmers again in that first half, but they just didn't have the consistency. It is going to come down to their bigger players, their more experienced players stepping up and potentially being a little bit greedier than they have been in that first half. They don't necessarily have the roster that can play the style that Australia play. They need to be a bit more selective about where the ball is, whose hands it's in on the offensive end.
I think you really need, against this type of Australia team, really good point guard play, really good backcourt. You got to be able to handle the pressure, take some of the steam out of the game. But then again, even with the shot clock, it's hard. You know, you got to get into your offense, and Australia, they just turn it up, and they don't really give you a choice. You have to play at their pace.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, for Jordan, what they need is they need a rim protector. I'm happy for them to sit in the zone, but they need a rim protector. And the guys on the perimeter, their backcourt, needs to trust that rim protector. They need to overcommit to the shooters, and if they get driven past, that's fine. They need to trust that they've got someone standing behind them that's going to help out.
If not Tucker, pass it this way, hand off, Tucker, follow. Okay, you lift up. A lot of time you had the chance to put your head down, like on fire. One time we give it, put your head down and man, go. Let him target one time, you're gonna score one time, you're gonna throw the foul. Be aggressive.
Let's go, let's go.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Man to man.
You know, Mike Kelly, pretty good ball player in his day, won the NBL title back in his days in 1996, grand final MVP.
The good old days.
Yes, we remember them all. But spent a lot of his professional career down under. And then when he wrapped things up with Wollongong Hawks, he became an assistant coach, and then just obviously was the head coach at Cairns, Taipans, and associate head coach at Perth.
And we talk about the strength in depth with regards to players.
By the way, Mark, I got to say, you got to get that app if you haven't already. Just scan the barcode, and you get everything you need from the FIBA Asia Cup. Okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. But we talk about the depth in the Australian playing talent. You look at their coaching depth as well now. Yeah. It's unreal that, you know, they have this team coaching philosophy now that they just rotate through assistant coaches to help out and assist as and when, and it just seems to work. You know, they have a fluid rotation that the level stays the same.
Well, Jordan right now just trying to try to inch their way back at all. Just get something positive. Abu Hawass actually made a couple good plays in the first half. Here he gets it back. He's got to make that shot though into Al-Dwari, and then he is blocked by Maker as he goes up for the dunk. Then Dart Tucker, look at that. That's what you need right there. Al-Dwari leading by example, getting on the ground. Oh, that was Freddie Ibrahim. The lob jumper.
Take him. Take any points you can get right now.
That was a great sign by Al-Dwari.
Yeah, and they've come out with much more intensity, and even on the offensive end, it didn't exactly go their way. But I was much happier with the patience and the structure that they showed.
He's definitely gone up in my estimation after that. And now the ball goes out of bounds off of Tucker. Look at this. That gets blocked. Now, we didn't see him get down on the hardwood for the basketball.
That's a great block from behind. It's such a difficult skill to get the timing. It helps when you have the athleticism and the wingspan of Thon Maker, but still, that's a great play.
So they want to review what exactly here, Mark?
Your guess is as good as mine. Pre-COVID, we used to have microphones on the officials, which was helpful. But now I think for safety protocols, we don't have the mics on them.
Okay, so it's the scrap.
Oh, was it a 3 or a 2?
It. Yeah, was it a 3?
Okay.
It's close.
That is a 3. A 3 from the lob. There you go.
They should try that play more often. If it's a bad lob, it goes in.
Yep.
Why not? Well, he was the first one to laugh. Down wide back, and McCarron. So Australia not shooting lights out at the start of the third quarter. They were hitting so many jumpers early on. It was kind of like, are they ever going to miss?
But I think the defense from Jordan has stepped up. It looks much more structured and also a bit more intensity. They're willing to jump out. They're trying to put some body on players. There seems to be more passion to it in this second half.
Abbas, quick pass to Al-Dwari, and he's fouled with the reach. Steindl. And much better offense is what Wasim Al-Su was asking for. Yeah, that was definitely Steindl reaching in from behind and not giving that one away. So he's telling Al-Dwari, you got to go to the line.
And that was the interesting thing, listening to that timeout towards the back end of the first half for Jordan. the coaching staff were clearly saying, you've got to run our plays. There is no play that looks like that last offense. You have to run the plays we set out. And if they do that in this second half, it looks like it's going to be a much more profitable second half. You just hope that they've not left themselves too much of a mountain to make a competition of this game.
Well, they've cut it back to 21. Still a mountain to climb. Steindl. Now Maker. Steindl. And good rebound, Abbas. And Abu Hawass almost turning it over. A little bit lucky. Ibrahim for three. He's got to throw the lob up there. Here comes El Douari. Back outside to Zed Abbas. And that was short.
But still much better from Jordan. The patience, using their strengths, using their assets in the most beneficial way.
Froling. And was able to get it. El Douari had his fingers on it. McCarron into the corner. McDowell White. And now up ahead to Abu Hawass. And oh, he just can't quite get those layups to go, can he? But he has a couple of free throws coming.
And this is night and day from what we saw at Jordan in the first half. They've come out defensively. They're working so much harder. The work rate is much higher. They're trying to put bodies. They're chasing shooters off the perimeter. And offensively, they're running when it's appropriate to run. And they're using their big man, El Douari, when they can.
Yeah, El Douari is confirming how good he is in this game, in my opinion. I mean, he's going right at those boomers down there. Here's McDowell White, Steindl again, Dar Tucker, and good. They're committing to the boards. Oh boy, Abu Hawass. You cannot fall asleep with the boomers on the court.
Yeah. Need a quick check every time. Are there 5
Get rid of the ball.
green jerseys in front of me or only 4?
Proctor replaces McCarron. Oh boy, El Douari pass right into the hands of McDowell White. Froling back to Maker. El Douari back to Abbas. Beautiful. Give and go.
And El Douari in this almost feels like he wants to be a bit of a Sabonis type big man, right? Feeding off that post. He's looking for the pass every time.
Well, nice, easy finish, McDowell White.
And this is important for Jordan now. Although Australia have had a couple of easy buckets in transition, the Maker dunk and the McDowell White finish there, don't get disheartened. They need to keep going because the way they played in this second half will get them wins in this tournament, will help them progress.
Freddie Ibrahim, that looks on the line, but short. Oh boy, they're nice 1-2 there, and Froling.
And you see the way the Australian players cut. So when he handed that ball off, he cuts hard because he knows he's going to be rewarded if he creates the space he's needed. He's not going to be left without the ball.
And that was Proctor with the kind of
unsubtle.
That was Maker. And just finishing things off. You know, it's better from Jordan, but they're still down 58-35. But I think it's what you said earlier, you know, if they don't get a win, fine. But are they playing better? Are they getting better? That's the main issue. So they can try to grow in the tournament. Abbas outside to Abu Hawass. And now the pass up to Maker and another dunk. And Freddie Ibrahim couldn't quite reach that as the pass sailed over his outstretched arms. Dart Tucker for three. Well, he'll take that. Proctor no look to Maker on the baseline. Well, that was almost another alley-oop pass that had a chance to go in from Freddie Ibrahim. Quick pass to McDowell White. Australia moving the ball, getting rid of it a little bit quicker now. Proctor kind of steps back unlucky. Front and back of the rim comes out.
And for me now, if Australia are to score the next basket, I'm tempted to call a timeout if I'm Coach Alfus. I need to stop this flow. Australia gaining momentum again, and Jordan is struggling.
Look, I think it's tiredness is an issue now for Jordan. That was Ibrahim trying to get the interception, but Maker go up higher so they can throw that ball higher. Ibrahim does indeed come out.
Yeah, I think you're right with regards to fatigue. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage players like Dar Tucker and his minutes. 34 years of age now. He's played 23.5 minutes already in this game. You can look, he's not, you know, he's starting to blow a little bit. He needs, you're right, he needs that break, and they need to manage those minutes.
I think not just Dar Tucker, I think Al Dwari as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're going to call timeout. So I think he recognizes his guys
are
blowing hard, and their rotation is nowhere near as deep as Australia. When you take these guys off, they might not be able to compete with this Australia team. This team has actually kept it relatively, you know, on even scale here in this third quarter. Jordan have actually outscored Australia 12-8.
Look, watch. So we're gonna run the same. Sammy, you're passing the ball. Amin, you're here, and Zuzu, you're here. Zuzu, you're setting pick for Amin, we see it. Tucker, you're setting now the back pick for Dwayne. Okay, we have 5 seconds. If you have the law for Dwayne, throw it. Tucker, pop, catch. Sammy, go. Double action. You're here, Dwayne, Tucker here. I will set a back pick for you. Same like double action, but we're gonna switch it up, okay? If you get it and there's no right shot, play. We have 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds, okay? So Sammy, if you're inbounded, go to the other side. If you're inbounded, you drop it.
Always stop T1, man.
So that's Maker just doing everything, getting the block, also getting the dunk.
Yeah, he's not put a bad shift in so far. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and assist, and a block to his name in under 19 minutes of game time. It's, yeah, he's staking a claim for player of the day so far, 2 games in. There were some big claims from the first game as well, though, to be fair. So
Aldari has 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists for Jordan. Also, Dar Tucker, 12 points, 3 rebounds. Here's a good, strong rebound and puts it up. And just maybe needed a little bit more control there. Just a little bit of a rush.
yeah, I like the play. I agree with you, though. They had 5 seconds. It wasn't a catch-and-shoot situation. He had time to work something once he received the ball.
Proctor explodes back outside to David Aquera, who drifts in and throws it into the hands of Dar Tucker, who goes through 2 defenders and then lays it up and in, and the foul as well. And boy, I tell you what, that was a terrific finish from Dar Tucker. He's been decent today, hasn't he?
Yeah, rolling back the years with that play, right? Explosive, driving through, just bursting through the defense. I thought he was going to throw that one down for a second.
I think that.
I think it crossed his mind, and then he realized, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, what am I doing?
Rijswijk went up. Must have just brushed his jersey against Tucker, who gets the three-point play. So he's having himself a nice game now, 15 points. Proctor leans into one, travels.
And we're seeing some of the younger players now in Australia finding their feet. Now Jordan are up in the tempo on the defensive end. They're not having that freedom and that space that they had in the first half, but this is an important part of that learning process for those younger guys at this level.
Oh. Tucker again, and Al-Dawari, another chance for Jordan. Zaid Abbas thinks he has a chance. He backs his man up and banks it in.
Abbas going old school for Jordan, but any which way right now, they need some offensive firepower.
Vague steps back. That was short. Look at the hustle from Al-Dawari. I'll tell you what, he's played like a captain's minutes today. He really has.
The thing is, though, Coach Al-Susi is going to have to look at this on the bigger picture. How long do you want to put your stars?
Holy cow, he went up, he tried to dunk it. Abu Hawass just can't quite get those drives to go down. And Wanisaki, and look at him battle for the rebound. Al-Dawari comes down with it. He's an absolute man out there. Here's a three. And Bazai off target. Wanisaki drives in, and Al-Dawari gets the rejection.
Just think Al-Dawari really needs a break now. He's looking very leggy, although he got that block.
Oh,
he's starting to look a bit leggy.
I think it would be a good time at the end of the quarter. They're going to bring him out. And Reese Vague, they turn it over. So, indeed, they are going to make a change. This was the block. So, Mohammed Hussein's going to come in. And then this is a dunk where, I mean, you got to give credit to Vague there for going up, getting the hand.
That's a great block.
Yeah.
When you look at that, without the foul as well, that was clean.
That's not so much a missed dunk as a block.
Yeah, yeah, that's going on the highlight reel as a block rather than, yeah, the dunk.
Hussein doesn't move around well on the court. I think his, I don't know if it's knees or whatever, but he's going to give him some minutes here. Now the pass over to Bazai. Shot clock about to expire. Ibrahim gets it to Hussein, and he's fouled from behind by McDowell White.
And that was a great job from Hussein. He battled in and then he locked out. You see him sealing out the defense just with the wide feet, the wide stance, gets himself to the free throw line. And it's going to be important throughout this tournament. You know, tournament basketball is different to the one and done games that you're often used to. Coach Al-Susi is going to have to look at this and go, okay, I am going to need minutes from Hussein. When can I use him? In what rotation point? What does the other team need to look like to bring Hussein in? When is he of most benefit to me?
Well, don't look now, but this Jordan team has really battled well in this third quarter, and they've cut it back to a 16-point deficit. They've outscored Australia 17-8. And Hussein makes it, they've outscored him 18-8. And it's a 15-point deficit.
And the most impressive thing is keeping this Australia team to 8 points in a quarter is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal performance from them. And that's where everything has stemmed from in their fight back.
Five on the shot clock. McCarron loses his handle. He gets it back, puts it up from three. And I thought he might throw that one in. And Zaid Abbas was a weird finish. I don't know what everybody's looking around at. Zaid Abbas looked like he was trying to get a foul called.
Well, I think what they were trying to claim is that it clipped the ring, so the shot clock should have reset, and then it came off. the hand of a Jordanian defense. But
well, a chance here for Jordan if they can score. Boy, that would give them a real lift going over to the bench at the end of the quarter. Ibrahim, shakes and bakes, puts it up. Oh, boy, that would have been a highlight reel play. That was his play. Much better for Jordan. And, you know, play smart, play hard, play together. Like the great man Dean Smith once said, and you'll actually have a chance. Australia, they'll lead at 60-45 over Jordan.
And for me, it was just the defensive performance for Jordan. As much as we can look at these shooting statistics, it's more the fact that Jordan actually came out and played some pressure defense. They were constantly, and you saw all the way through that quarter, putting much more pressure on and off the ball on Australia, holding Australia to just 8 points. And they really were led by some of the veteran players. Dar Tucker stepped up, put in more of a shift. Al-Dwari stepped in, and like you're saying, it gives everyone a lift when you see one of your superstars hit the hardwood, throw his body to the floor just to win one possession.
Yeah, that to me was, that told me right there, this guy is a leader. I mean, granted, you're supposed to be getting on the hardwood. That's, you know, you always been taught that.
But
it's a given. But
how often do you see it? You don't see it all the time when you should.
And Al-Dwari got on it, got the ball back, and they scored. And he's your, you know, he's one of your, you know, your big pros. So. But Australia 0 of 6 from three-point range in that quarter. But again, they were taking some shots that a little bit more under pressure. Maybe a little bit of good fortune on that lob. Watch this. Oh, no, it wasn't this one. This is a great block by Vague.
Yeah.
Nothing vague about that, or Vogue rather.
The thing for me, looking at this for Australia, is I don't mind this if I'm Coach Kelly. I don't mind the fact that we're facing adversity, because you don't want to have your first adversity when it's a knockout round. You want to have some bad times, some tough times early in the group stages where you can come together and find your solutions in a safer place.
Well, into McCarron, and confusion reigns in the Jordan defense there. Spread it out, and they got a layup. Daniel guarding Ibrahim tight. Now Bazai. They're giving Al-Dwari just a little bit of an extra blow on the bench.
And you wonder, are Jordan going to give it 4 or 5 minutes trying to fight their way back into this one? And if they're still down by something like 17 points, is it time to start resting some of the stars?
Hussein has been a nice player off the bench today. You can see he's kind of gimpy getting around out there. So he's giving you everything he's got. It's a tough assignment guarding Maker. Froling. And Zed Abbas knocks it away. Freddie Ibrahim back to Hussein for 3. Interesting how Ibrahim deferred that time to give it to Hussein.
Yeah, some of the decision making hasn't been quite on point for Jordan in this game. I like what Thon Maker's doing here, though.
Oh, good, quick hands. And now, oh, beautiful bullet pass up to Abu Hawass, but he couldn't catch it cleanly. Much better from Jordan in the second half. Oh, great catch from Abu Hawass. Hussein, shot clock about to expire. Ibrahim gets it off in time. And Jordan, we're hoping that was going to be their ball. McDaniel goes out. Steindl comes back in.
For me, in this situation for Australia, they need Thon Maker to go to the perimeter, because he's going to drag Hussein away from the paint. And There's no other help for Jordan. There's no other rim protection on the floor. So thumb maker for me, just stay on the perimeter.
Well, Hussein's really putting his body on Maker, isn't he? Maker from deep. And McCarron kind of cleared out Abu Hawass and was able to get the rebound. McCarron hands it off to Steindl, and great D from Abbas. Boy, the fight in this Jordan team right now is just unrecognizable from what we saw in the first half.
And, you know, as we were saying, that's the key. Even if Jordan aren't able to overturn this big deficit, they're going to take a lot from this game. They're going to take a lot of heart and spirit into their future games.
Well, they don't want to lose by 25. Here's Abu Hawass. I'm not sure how much they would get out of it if Australia opened up another big lead, but even so, right now it's better than what we had seen. Steindl says, I've had enough, and he strokes the three. And Freddie Ibrahim trying to go hard. Now Maker takes it away. 3-on-2, the lob. And Maker fouled as he goes up by Abu Hawass, so he gets 2 free throws.
And there's the wedgie, first of the tournament.
You know this is coming.
The dunk wedgie.
And yeah, Abu Hawass kind of pushed off there. Yeah, I think it's more about, for Jordan, attitude. And you're either going to come and play hard at the Asia Cup or you're not. And they've kind of indicated here in the second half that they don't want to go home after the first round.
Oh, you know, after that first half, I was concerned. I was thinking, wow, this isn't the Jordan I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more heart and fight. But the second half has shown to me that they're not going to just roll over in their group games. They're going to push as hard as they can. And you wonder if much of the mindset is that they knew today wasn't the must-win game. Today wasn't the game that they have to come away and win. It's not, you know, they probably expect Australia to top the group. No one comes out to lose a game, but always in your mind you go, right, we need to win this game, or it's not the end of the world if we don't win this game.
Oh, nice pass to Hussein. Problem is that they're starting to rely more on hitting jump shots. And you'd like to feed it into that low post, and Al-Dawari, for that reason, is getting back into the game now. Maker, another three-pointer for Thon Maker. And with that, another timeout. Here it is again. Thon Maker hitting a right corner three. He's got 3 threes now. He's got 23 points and 8 rebounds.
And that's a 10-2 start to the fourth quarter for Australia. And, you know, we were raving about Jordan in that third quarter. They held them to 8 points. They've given up 10 points in the first 4 minutes of this final quarter. But it just shows you how powerful and impressive this Australian roster are going to be in this tournament.
But it's also, Jordan's just not the same team overall if Al-Dawari is not out there.
Yeah. Particularly as they haven't had Tucker on the floor for a lot of this opening phase as well. Without their 2 focal points on the offensive end, it changes everything.
Put the ball inside. Let's put the ball inside. T2. Let's go for T2. If we score with T2, run it again.
Okay. What are we doing in defense?
Same thing, but with both of them are white. No switches. No switch.
Let's go, White. Let's go.
Yeah, everything is white. Fight.
So you see the highlights. You know, and the reality is Jordan will go up against Indonesia in their next game, and they'll be looking at that game like we're gonna beat these guys just like we just beat them in the Asian qualifiers. Obviously, Indonesia want to get the big win
in front of their home fans.
Yeah,
it's going to be a different
prospect. They need to get to the quarterfinals
sure.
if they're going to play at the FIBA Basketball World Cup as the hosts, and then Jordan will wrap things up against Saudi Arabia. But what you don't want is to take so much out of you that you lay an egg against Indonesia, and all of a sudden that's a close game going down the wire.
Yeah, and the Saudi Arabia game potentially becomes an absolute Yeah.
Or even then, I mean,
pressure game.
you still want to get stronger as the tournament goes along. But I think that they're going to give everything in this one because you want to give your best against this Australia team because you're measuring yourself against the best.
And I still think there's the opportunity within these minutes.
There you go, Dar Tucker, right out of the timeout.
As I was saying, there's a lot of benefit in these minutes for them just to come together as a team to get ready to work their way into this tournament. The game starting to slip away from them potentially, but there's still plenty they can get from the last minutes in this one.
Steindl for three, had a hand in the face. And Maker fouled, swiping down on the basketball. So he's got the twin tower approach right now, Jordan. Al-Sus, he's got Al-Dwari in there as well as Hussein.
And I like that, you know, he's got 5.5 more minutes. Whether they can fight back from 20 down or not, it's a big ask. But they're going to try different rotations. How does this twin towers look? How do two big guys on the floor work together? Is it going to, you know, cause problems and traffic in the paint, or defensively will it help them protect their own rim?
Well, we heard him say he wants to get inside. Here is Ibrahim, and well, they covered it well. Australia preventing the offensive rebound, and there is Froling going up and having it taken away by Al-Dwari. And then Tucker drives to the other end. Froling looks at the ref to say, wasn't there some contact on that play?
How did I end up on the floor again?
Well, back to an 18-point game. Watch this. Watch this.
Just gets ripped from behind, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's just good. That's just good defense. I assumed that he did get fouled and it wasn't called, and then Dar Tucker was off to the races. Now Proctor steps back, long two, and Al-Dwari, and again, a chance for Jordan. 4:20 remaining. It would take something exceptional to get a win. It's all about execution for this Jordan team right now. They just want to leave this game playing well and feeling good about themselves. Al-Dwari. Boy, what terrific defense from McDowell White against a player that's a good foot taller than him. And there's the revenge from Froling. You're not going to block this.
It certainly felt that way. That was a little bit of payback for throwing him to the floor.
That looked almost like a pass. Vogue missed it so bad. Vague. I'm getting my Vagues and Vogues confused. That is in Vogue, that pass, isn't it? From Vague.
As long as he doesn't start voguing on the floor, we'll be fine.
Here we go. Goes behind the back. Bounce pass to Froling. Froling says, soft shot. 2 points. Check it.
And that's the side of the game from Froling that I really like. He can back and grind his way to the basket, but he's also happy going out and having that little one-handed soft game that he has.
And Ibrahim hits it from the paint.
That's a great pass from Al-Dwari.
And the very slick McDowell White gets in.
You have a feeling some of these Jordanian players are getting close to the empty marker on the fuel tank and starting to run on fumes.
Look at that hustle from Al-Dwari, and then makes the bounce pass. You can see he was coached by Joko Obradovic at one stage. I mean, Mr. Fundamental right there.
Yeah.
McDowell White. Australia definitely has not shot it as well in the second half. Not that it matters when you're up by 20, but just illustrates that when they were on in that first half, boy, they were like, what if they got 2 threes in the second half? So McDowell White and Vague, they go out. Condon comes into the game for Jordan. Dukas rather is coming in.
For me, if I'm Al Sous, I'm looking to take Al Douari and Tucker out of the game very soon. You're burning minutes off their tournament that maybe isn't profitable right now.
Okwari takes the ball away, but is whistled for the foul. I don't think El Douari wants to come out.
But he needs to look ahead. You know, the nice thing you have within Asia Cup, you do have those rest days. It's not like some tournaments where it's game.
You know, and as much as I think everybody would like to see a really strong performance from Indonesia, you know, Jordan are going to start as big favorites in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has been a great day at the FIBA Asia Cup on day one. You know, even though Australia got up on top, and if they had just steamrolled Jordan the rest of the way, but Jordan have shown some pride, and they've battled back and maybe laid the foundation for, you know, a good tournament with their second half performance.
And Hash, you're here. Wait, you're here. So we're gonna go set a good pick, Hindi. Malik, you're passing the ball. Malik here. Okay. So I wanna look for this. You pass. If Hash is wide open, we pass it. If it's not Hash and you open, then where will set a back pick for Hindi for a shot, or where you slip it. Okay? So you're gonna pick Hindi. Hindi's gonna pick for Hash. For the corner. Right? And then you slip.
There you go. Great shot there with El Douari and Thon Maker sharing a laugh together. And those two guys have really turned it on today. That was the play I wasn't. Is this a pass? Look at this.
There's no way you're giving him a pass. You're not giving him the pass.
He's just too good of a player to miss it that badly. That's a layup. I mean, he's out there just nailing jump shots left, right, and center.
It's too close. Needs to be stepping back a bit.
Should have been cleaner. No, I think it may have hit the rim after he shot it. On the other side. Al Hindi's in the game. El Douari facing the double team, turns and fouled. There's a lot to like about his game. I keep saying it, but, you know, he handles it well. Dart Tucker's like, man, just throw me the ball. I'm wide open for the three. 20 points for Dart Tucker. So 13 points, 6 assists to go with Al Douari's 10 points. He's also got 2 blocks. And Thon Maker, 23 points, 8 rebounds. Hasn't gotten too many rebounds in this second half.
And the thing I find interesting is you obviously highlight Thon Maker and Al Douari as the 2 standout players in today's game, and rightfully so. And we constantly told, oh, it's a guard game these days. It's all about, you know, the littles in the game. It's all about the point guards and the shooting guards. And
yeah, but you know what?
And now we see this, and we see a wonderful exhibition, but they're modern bigs.
Yeah,
they're not
multiple
classic
skills.
bigs.
Yeah.
You know, Thon Maker's happy to handle the ball. He's happy to step out. Al Douari has wonderful passing vision, including the ability to miss a shot clock when he throws such a lob pass. They're a modern interpretation of a big, but it's great to see guys that are happy to get in the low post being a big part of the game. At times, I think it gets lost.
They've just got more weapons.
Yep.
Australia, you know, Sam Froling, 16 and 8. And in terms of that front court, Aquara's been tough in his minutes. And I think that ball goes off of Australia. So 136 remaining. And yeah, the second half so far being won by Jordan. I don't know if it's not going to be much consolation. It's more a case of playing harder, playing better.
I think for Jordan it's less worrying. More than anything after that first half performance, it's less of a concern.
Good job not turning it over, but shot clock's about to expire. That is a long three. Oh, Proctor with a little fake and scores.
And he's certainly in the mold of Australian guards. There's no 2 ways about that. If you swapped the back of his jersey to say Dellavedova, you wouldn't have been unsurprised by that. That little pass fake to open up the space he needed. And then as soon as he scores, he's turned and he's back and he's playing defense at a high level as well.
So that was his second bucket. He's got 4 points. In fact, that was his first bucket. He had hit 2 free throws. Proctor had a couple shots go in and out. Kana gets it in. Al-Hindi from the baseline over Dukas.
That's a really smart out-of-bounds play and well executed by what you must consider to be the kind of second string for Jordan.
Quarry whips it over to Dukas, and ball batted out to Cannon. Cannon came in the other day and played well against Indonesia in a key point when they kind of really turned it up a notch. But he hasn't really gotten too many minutes today. Oh, quick pass to Al-Hindi. Al-Harmache with a little runner and scores. Sam Froling ran right at him and back to an 18-point deficit, and I think Australia will just hold it. And the players shake hands. Great job, both teams. And the second game of the day has been won convincingly by Australia, but Jordan put up a very encouraging performance in the second half, and I think kind of answered the call in that respect, something they can build on moving forward. But in this one, it was Australia winning it 78-60 over Jordan. Well, Mark, I leave this game having confirmed that Australia, I think, probably the favorites to win it. We'll see. I mean, certainly they played as I thought they would, but also with a new respect for players like Al-Tawari and Dart Tucker. Look at those stats.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Australia, like you say, they've confirmed, and they've confirmed on the basis of what we thought as well, their team game. You know, 23 assists in the game. Jordan will be much happier in the second half. 18 assists for them. They won the rebounding battle in the end. So there's some positives for Jordan to take out of this performance, if not the win.
Well, Al-Tawari was a real leader out there, and multiple skills, and you know, for him it's all about the win and effort, and you don't quit on balls, you go for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're going to need that throughout. There's no two ways about that. You know, we can look through these plays, and in the second half it was just a lot more passion and heart shown from Jordan. The way they played defense, how they execute an offense was much more focused on the team goal rather than individual talent.
But you know what, we're reminded once again of just, again, there's just so many good players in Australia that they can bring this team here. I think it's a great thing. I mean, I think the qualifiers have done them a great favor. The windows, they've brought in a lot of new players, and also the Asian Cup, and these guys are getting quality minutes playing for the Boomers. I would think it's going to help a team like Jordan that they've played Australia today.
Yeah,
I mean,
without a shadow of a doubt.
They need to play, you know, as opposed to just going up against teams every so often, you know, every 4 years at the World Cup. You need to play better teams on a regular basis. Yeah. And that's what bringing Australia and New Zealand into the fray has done for teams like Jordan.
Absolutely. You know, the kind of cliche, steel sharpens steel, but it's true. You know, that's how these teams are going to get better. That's how the Asia group is going to gradually grow and really challenge for the top spot in global tournaments like the World Cup and like the Olympics. That's the way it's going to happen. The interesting thing I find from Australia is I'm wondering if we're going to get to the end of this tournament, and because they play such team basketball, we're not going to see many Australian players in the all-tournament team because they've just kind of spread the load. Today it was Thon Maker particularly stepping up. Froling stepped in as well. Maybe next game it'll be McCarron has a big game. And are we going to get to that stage where, because they played such good team basketball, we don't see many Australians featuring in the all-tournament team, which usually you see the best teams?
Well, they had nobody in the all-tournament team. at the last Asia Cup, and they blew everybody out.
There you go.
To me, that's the ultimate compliment to Australia.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, how can that be? But to me, it's like, how do you choose somebody from that great team?
If I'm head of Basketball Australia, that's a big pat on the back for me. I'm doing the right thing. We are developing just a plethora of talent that step up when they're needed, and the right philosophy for it as well.
So game day one, and Australia getting out and opening it up with a win over Jordan. And later tonight, or in fact next, it'll be Saudi Arabia against Indonesia, the other two games in this group A at the FIBA Asia Cup.